Well, good morning. I'm Kevin Kiley. I'm proud to represent the entire California portion of Lake Tahoe in the U.S. House of Representatives. By the way, I also happen to represent Lake Almanor to the north and Death Valley to the south. You'd think the only way to represent all of these landmarks is to have Senator Butler's job and literally represent the whole state. But the new 3rd District, the largest congressional district in California, is home to all of them. And so I have this amazing opportunity to represent a vast area with some of the most glorious parts of our state, of our whole country. And Tahoe, of course, is a national treasure without peer. I want to thank everyone who is here today for this summit. I want to thank my colleagues on both sides of the aisle for your attention to Tahoe. I want to thank our partners at the federal, state, regional, local, and tribal level. I want to thank Secretary Buttigieg for being here with us today. I am so grateful to everyone who shares our vision, who has joined in our common commitment to a Tahoe that will continue to dazzle for generations to come. You know, people often ask me, how are we ever going to overcome the division, the rancor that has infected our politics, each year seemingly worse than the year before? It's a hard question. I think the best answer is through common projects that are of local and regional importance. Tahoe is a perfect example. Spanning 2 states, numerous overlapping jurisdictions, board members appointed by Republican and Democrat governors by red and blue counties. Just look at the diversity of viewpoints among the speakers today. And yet we can all agree on the goal of protecting something that is larger than any of us, that transcends political differences, that is timeless. Tahoe means different things to different people. It's a place of global renown, the site of famous international gatherings and competitions. It's a place for water and snow sports, for hiking and biking, for lake life and cozy cabins. But for tens of thousands of people, it's something much more. It is home. For families, for students, for workers, for retirees, it is a precious and beloved home, not just because of the blueness of the lake or the beauty of the mountain, but the amazing communities that animate the basin. Yet these communities also face growing challenges. Challenges around housing, workforce needs, infrastructure, traffic, and parking threaten the quality of life for residents and workers who are our strongest allies in the project of stewardship. We all have an important role to play in addressing these challenges while maintaining the character and accessibility of the Tahoe region. The biggest challenge of all is the one that came to our doorstep 3 years ago. Tahoe is a beautiful place, but there are far too many formerly beautiful places in our state. Across many parts of my district, lush forests have been reduced to barren stems, bearing the scars of destruction and trauma. Centuries will go by before they are ever the same. Such scenes are, of course, all too familiar in this region, following the devastation of the Calder Fire. Yet the blaze was defeated here, and our communities were spared thanks to mitigation efforts done in Christmas Valley, along, of course, with the heroism of our firefighters and first responders. We must build on that vital success, learn the lessons of the Calder and other fires, and do everything we can to assure that such a catastrophe does not threaten our communities again. To share these challenges and the lessons learned, and to build support for the federal resources our region needs, earlier this year I hosted a field tour and policy discussion here for the Western Caucus Foundation. The Congressional Western Caucus is a bipartisan group of more than 100 members, the second largest caucus in the House, who are committed to advocating for Western and rural America on Capitol Hill. During the multi-day seminar, we saw examples of both treated and untreated forests. We learned about prescribed burns, forest thinning techniques, fuel management, as well as water infrastructure. We made stops at the Forest Service Barracks, Camp Richardson, Echo Summit, and Sierra at Tahoe. And of course, we went out on the lake. I believe this visit impressed upon many the vital importance of the Lake Tahoe Restoration Act. And I want to thank Senator Cortez Masto, along with Senators Rosen, Butler, and Padilla as well, for your leadership on this initiative in the Senate. As far as the House, based on my recent discussion with members of the Committee of Jurisdiction, the committee chair, and House leadership, I am now very hopeful The LTRA reauthorization will be passed by the House and signed by the President before the end of the year. The theme of this year's summit, transportation, is centrally important to the quality of life around the basin for residents and visitors alike. The solutions are not easy, and yet the tremendous spirit of collaboration that exists in this region is bringing them within reach. Trails, road widening, bus routes, point-to-point ride sharing, rail, and still other modalities. And while we fix our gaze firmly on our present challenges, it's also important to look up every once in a while and peer into the future. A future that is free of traffic, congestion, and roadway accidents. Fundamentally, these are 20th century problems. There are and will be 21st century solutions. The name of this summit captures that forward-looking spirit. Connecting Tahoe, investing in transit, trails, and technology for the future. We can imagine a future, actively work towards a future, where 40,000 annual roadway fatalities are reduced to zero, where our public infrastructure is liberated from much of the weight it now bears, where commute times are dramatically reduced and communities are more deeply connected. What better place to move towards that future than here in Tahoe? Protecting Tahoe is a responsibility for all of us. At the same time, it is an opportunity to forge new partnerships, to form habits of cooperation and collaboration as we work to protect a precious resource and build a better future together. Thank you very much.